Hello, Alexandra here. This content is for folks interested in spiral dynamics or integral. And today's topic is stage loneliness, especially at green and turquoise. Green and turquoise can both experience loneliness due to their stage for different reasons. Green is a very reciprocal stage, and stage green needs other people's feedbacks, and they need to be with other people. They're very relational. They need intimate conversations, and they like to talk about spiritual topics. And green, when they're among an all orange group, can actually be pretty lonely because green is so different than orange. Green, according to Suzanne Cook-Greuter, is a watershed stage. Green is the first stage that really values inner work as a lifestyle. And green really needs others' feedback to grow and to be their best selves at green. And so if someone in stage green has no other stage green friends or very few stage green friends, they can just feel like a fish out of water because stage orange is talking about everyday practical topics and still very goal oriented and quote unquote success oriented, whatever that is for them. And green has a heightened empathy and a heightened depth, and green wants to be communal and just throw a warm blanket around everybody. And when green does not have anyone to reciprocate that can be incredibly lonely. I'm going to skip over yellow or teal in integral because that's not so much a lonely stage. It's a very individualistic stage with a very robust identity. Folks are very flexible and they can pretty much talk to anyone at any stage. And it's a stage where people are having too much fun to be lonely. And of course, somebody can experience some loneliness, if they go through a divorce or a breakup or something like that at yellow or teal, but generally they don't have the same existential loneliness that green can have. And when we start getting to turquoise, Suzanne Cook-Greuter and Terry O'Fallon say this stage, entering turquoise or construct aware, as Suzanne Cook-Greuter calls it, she calls it construct aware or ego aware, can be lonely because there are few other people like them. And in fact, Terry O'Fallon has helped folks at stage turquoise find other folks at stage turquoise, and they've cried because they finally found someone like themselves. And for me, entering turquoise and being at early turquoise, I'm very lucky to have a coach who is actually at late turquoise. Actually, I found her because I wanted to do some parts work, some cleaning up work, and during the interview, I asked her about integral, and lo and behold, she knew about integral, and she's at late turquoise. I have integral groups where a very few of the participants are at early turquoise, maybe several, and one of the facilitators is well past turquoise. And I'm very lucky to have a husband who I think is at yellow or teal and integral, who really, really sees me and is really supportive. And yet, I still, a lot of the time, feel somewhat to a lot invisible in plain sight. So most of us, a lot of us have family where a large part of our family might be at stage orange. So we speak stage orange and we put on our stage orange hat and have those conversations. It can be a lot of fun, and because stage orange they're always doing things, always something to talk about, easy to have small talk. And I even had a stage blue friend who was quite lovely. But what was happening is this was a group on Zoom is I did notice, I mean, this person is beautiful, really lovely person, but would sort of summarize what I said at the end of our group meetup and almost, I don't want to say drastically reduce it, but quote unquote repeat back to me in her words what I'd said. I didn't really ask for the summary. She just had a tendency to summarize everything. And it would be very reduced, missing a lot of context. And I just sort of blew it off. I thought, well, whatever. She's sending me love by repeating back to me and telling me she really cares enough to listen and wants to empathize. So I didn't think much of it. I knew that, maybe I was at a different stage, but what happened with her, and I talked about this in another video, is this is a group where several of us were friends from the US and she's from a different country, is she had a blowout and kicked us all out of the group because she disagreed with us politically, and she started talking about conspiracy theories in the US that weren't true and was very gullible and believed all these things that were these weren't even conspiracy theories here. She's in Australia. So she went stage blue on us. She got to the shadow of the stage blue and just disagreed with us politically and had a blowout and ended the friendships. The rest of us have our own group now. It was so startling because I actually thought she was at stage green because she was so communal and so into animal rights. But people at stage blue can have green values. But that's kind of, at stage blue, there are quite a few stages in between stage blue and late yellow or early turquoise. So that might not be a great match to have a close friend. I definitely have some family members and love and respect them, and so thankful for these family members who are at stage blue, and they show a lot of the beautiful side of stage blue, which is communal and very easy to talk to. So obviously stage blue is not always in its shadow, but what's happening I have several friends at stage green, and sometimes I actually do feel a little bit reduced when they repeat back to me what I said, and I can be a little bit invisible in plain sight, even with my green friends, and I really don't say anything because it's what's behind the conversation that matters, and that is so much love. And the green friends I have, I cherish. They are amazing, beautiful people. But what my coach was saying is that I really need to find some more friends at yellow or teal or even early turquoise. It's almost the closest I could explain this is that I have a lot of context around the stages. For me personally, I've done a lot of work, if not an enormous amount of work on myself over the past couple decades that have helped me. I'm not one of the people that just flows effortlessly through the stages. And I also talk to my coach who does the parts therapy. It's brain spotting, by the way, which is really effective. It gets down in there and gets those hard to reach parts out much more effectively than talk therapy. But she also had to do a lot of work for her to get to late turquoise. So I think maybe my friends at stage green don't understand the enormous amount of work through the years I've done, and they don't understand stage yellow. And so by the time we're getting to early turquoise, they love me, and they do sometimes listen to my stage videos. They probably won't get to this one. I mean, I have maybe 30 videos out now, and if they did hear it, they love me, and they'd probably be like, hey, tell me more about what you're talking about. I want to make sure you feel heard. But I also, at late yellow, early turquoise, we know that it's us. We know that it's the stage. This stage, can be a very lonely stage. So we know that we're 100% responsible for our own feelings and for our own experience. So it would be even a little bit controlling to try to get other people to see me, see me, see me, when, in a way, we don't see all of ourselves because there's so few people at early Turquoise or at Turquoise. We don't have a bunch of role models or a bunch of peers or a bunch of friends or a bunch of coworkers. So we're trying to navigate this territory watching videos. Terry O'Fallon has some great courses. She's got the 3 questions for $45 where we can learn about all the stages, including Turquoise. And she's got another course after that, the gifts and confusions of the stages, and that can have a mini assessment attached to it. So we're using courses, we're using videos, we're using integral groups, we're reading, and we're piecing together what other people have experienced to kind of make sense of this. And what happens at early Turquoise is we're experiencing dissolution of the identity and deconstruction of the identity. And simultaneously, as the identity gets a little bit smaller, or the self with the lowercase s gets a little bit smaller, we're feeling something larger move through us, something palpable. There are so many ways to describe it. Conscious awareness itself is moving through us, or feeling like more peace, more serenity, more stillness, and even maybe experiencing a fullness where we start to feel held by the all. And this part feels really good. However, falling in and out of it through being sick or through having a part react, it doesn't feel so good. And what's happening is we are going through what Terry O'Fallon calls a 3-parameter change. And a lot of stages maybe only change 1 parameter or 2 parameters. In her system, we're changing a tier. We're changing the way we learn and the way we process information. We're changing the way we relate to the world. And according to her, this is very, very hard stage. People quit their jobs, they end relationships, and it's the stage. They do all of this, they make all these changes, and they're still not feeling grounded. There's an angst because our identity, we start to realize, is made up. And so this is an ego death. It's it's just hard to explain this to other people if they haven't been through it. And we eventually, once we settle in mid-turquoise, are holding this space where we know our ego is simply our identity, completely made up. And so when we're experiencing death of the ego, not total death, that total death of the ego, comes at the later stages, but enough to be unsettling. And it's almost as if we speak a language that no one else understands. And I'm talking about this loneliness because I had a great experience in an integral group today, in fact, and that's why I'm making this video. I met someone in a breakout discussion. I was one-on-one with this person, and this person started talking, and they were describing the same exact thing that I'm going through. And I found out that this person was at early turquoise and was experiencing the loneliness, and this person had also taken the MAP test a few years ago, and so they know where they are in the stages, they know what's happening. But I felt like I was meeting another unicorn, because yes, it's true, my coach is at turquoise and she does see me, but she's at late turquoise and she's telling me how easy late turquoise is. She's not at the wobbly part of entering turquoise. And one of the facilitators in Integral who leads the turquoise discussion group is way past turquoise. So he's not at the entering point. And so to meet someone who very articulately was describing what I'm going through. Was I don't even have the words for it. It makes my experience real. There's a certain unrealness to an experience when you're the only one you know going through something, and to have a peer say the same thing is incredibly encouraging. And that is why I make these videos. There are so many people who are listening to spiral dynamics and integral videos, and they're getting amazing technically correct videos that would be sort of the landmark videos or the pillar videos to watch first, like the Ken Wilber or Suzanne Cook-Greuter or Nomali Pereira. And I would say those are the foundational videos, but this channel is more of a personal experience, some of the pitfalls, some of the shadows of the different stages and the downfalls and what we go through, and some of the harder things we go through as we transition through the stages, or we experience maybe a shadow of the stage. So I hope you found this information useful. Sending you love and blessings, and see you in the next video.